Let's bring the fight to Kefka's face. Buckle in for some talkie-talkie. In order to maximize talkie-talkie in this scene, you kind of have to leave Gogo and Yumero back on the airship. Because Kefka's going to give this big speech about how he hates all of us and blah blah blah. And then everybody that all of your comrades are going to have something to say in response, except for Gogo and Yumero. But I like to think that Kefka at this point is just bored. Like, he's already destroyed the world. And, like, now he's just bored. There's nothing left for him to do. His life is empty. There's nothing that can fill the hole. And he's so happy that you guys, that we showed up. He's so happy that we finally made it here. Because now, for one brief moment, once again, his life has meaning. And that's the big tragedy of Kefka's character arc. He doesn't believe in meaning. He doesn't believe in purpose. He thinks everything is meaningless. But his own life, the only meaning to his own life is he gets to play with his friends who came to see him. Terra says love. Locke says a person worth protecting. Cyan's dead wife and child. Shadow, aw, we're his family. Shadow, you're my bro. A peaceful kingdom. Sabin, I think he's drunk, maybe? An obnoxious grandpa that I left back up on the airship. Gao loves us all, but he loves Yumero most of all. And there's Kefka's famous line. You sound like lines from a self-help book. And here he comes to destroy the world again. Now, if you're playing the advanced version and you intend to do the bonus content, you want to put Locke in your final party fighting Kefka, because you can steal an Ultima weapon and an Illumina from him in the end. Did I give Celeste the right swords? Did I give her her Ultima weapon, or did I just hit Optimum and back out real quick? Her swords I can check in a minute here. He's basically lasering the ocean. He's just killing whales at this point. I'm not sure what he means to accomplish by doing that. So here we go, the Insane Clown Posse versus the Self-Help Book. So yeah, Celeste is number 1, and then Realm, Setzer, Sabin. If any of you were expecting anything different, I don't know what to tell you at this point. You have not been paying attention to who my favorite characters are in the game. Here we go. I gotta check Celeste's equipment real quick. I gotta make sure... Yeah, she has what I want her to have. Good stuff. We're just gonna have her blasting Ultima. No, we want her in the back row first, though. Actually, we want everybody in the back row. And I think I want to summon Golem as well. Yeah, that's exactly why we want to have Golem summoned. That was decent damage from Celeste from the back row. My goodness. Yeah, let's get Golem out. We'll have Setzer Kiraga if we have to. You, ma'am, just start spamming that Ultimo. We're gonna Ultima Quest to the Avatar all over this bastard. This is the most epic final boss in the Final Fantasy series to date. This boss just it's got like 4 different phases, and every phase has a million different kinds of attacks. It gets incredibly, incredibly silly. Okay, so yeah, she's blocking that hit. And then when this thing's final attack is 10 hits in a row, and we want to make sure nobody dies from any of that. In fact, this might be it here. No, that was not quite 10 hits. Then when Realm gets low on hit points, or magic points, we'll just throw an elixir at her. It'll be all wonderful. And there's the dice, every bit as often as we knew they'd be. Celeste is in the right row now. Things are coming up Millhouse. We don't have a lot of elixirs, but we have 1 mega elixir. And we'll have enough to get Realm through this fight. And you can farm them in the game. There are ways to get as many elixirs as you think you'll ever use. In fact, I'm going to use this turn, since this phase is almost dead, just to throw a high ether at her. Oh, that phase is dead. That was it. We actually managed to kill the first phase right on the border of the music. It went over real seamlessly. This part of the fight, this phase has the most parts to fight, so I think here we might have Sabin throw out his Bahamut here. Oh, what the fresh hell is this going to do to me? A little tiny bit of damage, fair enough. Yeah, I guess I should go ahead and use up Sabin's MPs on Ultima here. How much damage can he do? I'm just curious. How much damage can he do with Ultima? He's not gonna top Realm. Certainly not with her dual casting, but I'm curious to see how far along he's come. He's had a Magic Plus pretty much the whole game. Pretty much since we've had access to Espers, he's been getting Magic Plus. I don't know if he's had a level up where he didn't get Magic Plus. Well, we're not going to find out now. Life is terrific. He's good and silenced. Is Setzer the only one who can take damage from elemental magic in this fight? Everybody else has equipment all out the blazoo. I mean, I'm glad we got that Mega Flare out. We can just leave him silenced now. It's not going to matter. Everybody else has Curaga. We can have Setzer or Celeste spot heal as needed. And we will need it. Guaranteed. He doesn't have a buff you can dispel. All his buffs are from his awesome shoes. He's got them fresh new Nike Airs. Oh, here's the 10-hit combo. This'll leave a bruise, but I don't think this will outright kill anybody. We got dudes on the back line with Protect. I think we're fine. Yeah, I don't think anybody's got a buff you can dispel. I have no idea what you're doing. Okay, go ahead and hit us with a Curaga. Is that the only part left up there? And then we're moving on to the next phase? When we get to the next phase, I'm going to have Realm throw up Re-Raise. I think she has Re-Raise. I think all the girls got Re-Raise while we were on the Veldt. Ah, the Veldt. I had fun hanging out with you guys on the Veldt. And that's it for Phase 2. Oh, never mind. The music just breaks in this version, I guess. It's supposed to loop one phase until it can move seamlessly into the next phase of the music. But I guess in this version of the game, the break is just jarring and noticeable. So there's two targets here. If you choose to steal from these targets, the sleeping man has an Illumina, and the floating girl angel thing has an Ultima weapon. You know, if you're into that kind of thing. Alright, so go ahead. We can re-raise everybody on the magic points she has right now. I want this Kiraga to come out. And then after she dual casts her next re-raise, we'll throw an Elixir at her. She'll go into the last phase with full magic points. Look how I planned that out. Look how that all lined up so nicely. Everything is just perfection. Remember the strategy guide we were following always wanted us to be like 10 levels higher than you really realistically need to be at any point in the game? Like, you weren't supposed to come into the tower unless you had your characters at like level 50 or something absolutely ridiculous. Which we obviously didn't do. I mean, my heroes here are like, I think all these heroes are over level 30, but we had some dudes come in with us that weren't even level 30 yet. This is going to do a bunch of status ailments. Just darkness. I mean, oh, and silence. But we've got remedies, don't we? Yeah. Welp. Okay. That's why we re-raised right there. And here we go, guys. Here it is. The epic ascent towards Kefka himself. Bathed in glowering light, the light of judgment. Did that elixir come out? It must not have, because she's still got 211 hit points. And he's not wearing pants. Why would he be? Alright, buddy. Dancing mad. Let's go. Nice that he got changed for us while we were fighting his giant monster tower. Okay, throw a blitz out. Go ahead and... You know what? Just throw this. This will be fine. You dual cast. You can't yet. That's fine. You... There you go. Let's get re-raised back up. Now we're gonna need another Kiraga. Oh, Setzer can't do it. It's gonna have to be Celeste. Alright. I want you to remedy yourself. I don't want you to be silenced. In case I need some spot healing down from the peanut gallery down here. I don't want anybody silenced. So you can one-shot Kefka if you have a way of doing 9999 damage 8 times in a row, which is not actually that difficult. Genji Glove plus Master Scroll, Valiant Knife, and Ultima on lock. That'll pretty much do the trick. Alright, I want you to cast... No, you don't want you to blitz. I don't want you to cast anything. The healing is fine for the moment. Nice roll. Yeah, it could be better. Alright, now I want you to get back to doing what you're best at, little girl. The Ultimos. And I want you to summon Cactuar. I want to finish Kefka off with Cactuar. Not gonna happen. Dang it! One round too late. to finish him with the Cactar. Sabin's magic is too high! Why did I not raise his strength instead of magic? We could have had the epic Cactar mustache ending. But it was not to be. No problem. So this is, as you can tell, my favorite party. I always have Celeste way over-leveled because I just keep her in the party, the whole world of Ruin, with a Growfag. Give her that ultimate weapon, she can dish out tons of damage. Realm is the best caster, Setzer got the dice, Sabin's got the blitz. You can't build a better party than this unless you're going to invest in some serious grinding. I'm sorry, I just punched my desk. I didn't mean to do that. And so let's buckle in for one of the best JRPG endings on the Super Nintendo. Certainly has some of the best music. Has this excellent medley of all the character music themes. Unfortunately, because Kefka's dead, and Kefka was the source of all magic at this point, now all magic is dying. So with her last ounce of strength, Terra is going to get us to safety. Cyan Garamond, our good old butt monkey. Cyan, mathematically the worst character in the game. There's just no real way to get Cyan to be as good as basically anybody else. That being said, you can still get him to be plenty strong. There's really no bad character in this game. And he is actually better in the iOS version, because he can be charging his Bushido meter in the background while everybody else inputs their commands. Literally the only reason to play that version is if you want to make Cyan good. Setzer Gabbiani. I mean, my favorite character in the game, hands down. I love Setzer. I love his dice. I love his demeanor. I love his swagger. He's just... That scene in Kolinjin where he's drunk and depressed and, like, contemplating suicide and then just snaps out of it. Like that. He's ready to go save the world. Like, he's on it. He's like, man, I thought I was kidnapping the actress, but turns out I was getting played. But this could be fun, too. Godspeed, Setzer. Edgar Ronnie Figaro. And his buff twin brother, Sabin Rene Figaro. Edgar, as I said, is my dog's namesake, and Sabin is one of my favorite characters in the game. Sabin is probably the best character in the game from the standpoint of a new player finding something that works really well and being able to spam it really easily. He's good in the beginning, he's good in the middle, he's good at the end, and magic, go magic all the way. Earrings, magic plus, Sabin's awesome. Edgar's cool too. Mog! Oh, Mogort. You really have to work to make Mog a good party member. Even with the Dragoon Horn and such, I mean, he's not putting out the same damage as somebody could with Ultimate Weapon, but that Valor spell, and if something's weak to Holy, I mean, Mog's your man with that Holy Lance. His dances lose their luster in the World of Ruin. They're pretty good in the middle World of Balance, but really, the Malulu charm. What else does he really need? No random encounters. Perfect. Yumero, the Berserker. So the Berserker is the worst class by far in Final Fantasy V. I went into some detail while we were out on the veldt. But in this game, I think the Berserker is a lot of fun. Yumero will spice up any team. You don't have to worry about equipping him. He comes equipped. He's got his own relics. He's not taking resources away from anybody else. He's essentially... Think of him like this. Think of him as a little bit of padding you put on the edge of a 3-person party that can put out reasonable damage. Go-Go. Extremely versatile, terrible stats. And that's Go-Go's life. The problem with being versatile in this game is this is a game of specialists. You don't need somebody who can do a little bit of everything, because everybody in this game is really, really, really good at something. Typically when I play the game, Go-Go just ends up being a second Blitz character, but because you can't boost his magic stat, you can't really get out of him what you get out of Sabin. And Gao. Secret best character in the game. Gao, no novice player of this game likes Gao. No first-time player of this game likes Gao. But veterans of the game know how to make Gao very, very strong. You can do it with very little effort. Give him that stray cat rage the first time you're on the veldt. He's good for pretty much the whole game. Know a couple of other rages to give him access to early magic spells. Ghost is one. The Lesser Lopros for Fireball, the Templar for Fyra, and Gao will get you there. Locke Cole. And his #1 lady fan, Celeste Cher. And these two characters kind of fill the same role mechanically because they have kind of the same equipment set. They have access to all the best weapons and things. The big difference is you get Celeste very, very early in the World of Ruin, and you kind of have to get Locke very, very late. So which of these two characters is going to be better for you is really going to depend on how much grinding you want to do late in the World of Ruin. If you take 20 hours past where I played to get all the characters leveled up, to get all of them to learn all the magic, Locke is probably going to come out stronger because he's got that Valiant Knife. That being said, there's really not a lot to steal in this game, and there's not a lot of use in the World of Ruin for the Runic command, so both these characters kind of live and die on their equipment set. Still both excellent, though. Tara Branford, probably the protagonist of the game. My favorite bit of trivia about Tara is Yoshitaka Amano, who did a lot of the character designs for the early Final Fantasy games, including Final Fantasy VI. You've probably seen his artwork at some point. Says that Terra is one of his 2 favorite Final Fantasy characters to draw. So there are a lot of pieces of art, of Amano's artwork of Terra, floating around out there. She's a wonderful character. That's really all you can say about her in the allotted time that I have. I've got to move on. There are more characters to talk about. Realm Irony. Now, many years ago, the first time I bought a cell phone, even before the era of flip phones, you could order these like sticker decals to put on your cell phone. And mine was artwork of Realm Irony, because I think she has an adorable character design. And I mean, excellent character. She has the highest magic stat naturally. The only way to get a higher magic stat than Realm is to give somebody plus magic espers. But you can give Realm plus magic espers, so I always get a lot of use out of Realm over the course of the game. Shadow, who I guess we could call Clyde Irony, maybe? I don't know. The throw command is excellent. The throw command, Shadow can do a lot of damage very effortlessly if you know what to throw. An excellent thing to do with him is to buy those elemental swords in the World of Ruin and throw them at monsters with elemental weaknesses. I just don't, a lot of time, find the time to use him. I tend to get him late in the World of Ruin, and the World of Balance, you could really only use him sparingly. Strago Magus was a character in this game, believe it or not. Blue magic is just not very good in Final Fantasy VI. So Strago, if you're going to make use out of him, you're probably going to make use out of him by giving him a lot of Esper magic. And if you're going to have a character with a lot of Esper magic, you might as well go with Realm and Terra, who both have higher magic stats than Strago. Very early on, his Aqua Breath spell is pretty good, but his usefulness dwindles very quickly after that. And hunting down blue magic is a huge pain in the ass, so that's another reason to not do it. Oh, and you. Thank you for saving the world. It's the least you could do since you destroyed it in the first place. So very notably, Shadow does not make it back to the airship. Presumably, everybody else makes it back. Even Go-Go, who we saw fall into a hole and nobody cared because he's Go-Go. Why would he care? But even Go-Go is on the airship. Watch very closely on the very back of the airship when it zooms forward. You'll see Go-Go for a split second. But Shadow doesn't make it back on the airship. Presumably that means that Shadow dies at the end. I mean, the tower crumbles. His last words are to his buddy Baram, who we already know is dead. So maybe he's made his peace with his life and he feels he's done all he can do. But the world has blue skies again. These children are playing on the top of a cliff. I don't know why they're... Oh, their parents are dead. Nobody's watching them, that's right. Terra was watching them, and then she decided to go save the world, so... I can't imagine there are any players who completed this game without coming back to recruit Terra, but she is an optional character in the World of Ruin. You can skip Mobliz entirely. And then I guess this scene makes no sense, where Katarine has her baby. Everyone's laying face down except Strago. Strago rolled over. I guess he's an old man. He would have difficulty breathing with his face down and his mustache like that. And so, Terra has something for her human side to cling on to, and she is allowed to continue to exist in this human world. And that's Final Fantasy VI. We get to roll the credits pretty much the same way we rolled them in Final Fantasy V. Riding your vehicle across the world you saved. And
if you ask 100 people what their favorite Final Fantasy game is, 90 of them will say Final Fantasy VI. Easily. A lot of people who play the games in this series started with 7. I pointed that out while we were back on the Veldt. But many of those people, remember, Final Fantasy VII came out in 1997. Final Fantasy VI only came out a couple years earlier. I want to say 94. 6 was 94, Chrono Trigger was 95. I think that's how it went. So a lot of those people who played Final Fantasy VII went back and played 6 afterwards. And I personally know dozens of people who started with 7 but went back and then preferred 6 over it. And 7 was a big spectacle game, and 6 had quite a lot of spectacle too, but compared to 7, it's very reserved. And it does a lot of things with its characters, does a lot of things with its story, its customization systems. Graphically, it looks nicer. I think 6 has a lot to recommend it to that generation of gamers. I'm of the generation before that. I started with Final Fantasy 1 way back in the day, and I still love Final Fantasy VI, but there's a lot about the other games in the series that I appreciate more. Back in the day, I did a blog post, or a blog series, called The 13 Weeks of Final Fantasy, where every week I talked about every game in the series a little bit on one topic or another, and then at the end of it, I ranked them all, which series has the best chocobos, which series has the best Cid, so and such down the line. And at the end of it, I ranked them all. I made a spreadsheet and okay, so which one came in first each week? Final Fantasy VI was the only game in the series from 1 to 13 that didn't come in first at all. Did 11 ever make it to first? I think it did, but I can't remember how now. But I think everything that this game does well, there's another Final Fantasy game that does it better, but this game probably has the best overall package. The major weakness of this game, the overwhelming weakness, the one that the people that don't like this game will always quote, is it falls apart in the world of Ruin. You've got this awesome, tight, focused story that follows just a very small group of characters until you get to the world of Ruin and the story vanishes. There's no more villain. Kefka just sits there waiting for you to run around and do everything. And I think that's a fair criticism. I think there is something to be said for RPGs along the lines of Final Fantasy VII, which wait until the very end game to open up just a small amount of optional side quests, rather than basing the entire second half of the game around those side quests. If you play RPGs for the story, I can see how that might be a disappointing aspect of this game. I personally don't mind it, because I find the mechanics of this game so fun. You have so many side quests to do in the world of Ruin, but you also have a lot of characters to play around with. You almost don't have time, if you're doing all the side quests and you're kind of you want to use all the characters at least once, you kind of don't have time to give everybody multiple adventures. You can take everybody out pretty much to one side quest here and there. And then by the end of the game, unless you go out and do some purposeful grinding, everybody will be around level 30-ish, a little over 30 maybe. So, Catherine had her baby, and generic NPC man stole the baby from her. Catherine has big old 80s hair, by the way. Not sure if you noticed that, but... The shadow is the falcon passing overhead, and all the kids know that Mama Terra is aboard. The world is green and blue and coming back to life. They're finally rebuilding that house after a year. They're not going to depress you by panning another 10 feet over and showing you General Leo's grave again. That's not going to happen. But Final Fantasy V does the same thing, where you get to the last world and all opens up and you're supposed to go collect the powerful weapons and things, but you don't have to re-recruit all your characters. You're not locked out of building parties or getting new jobs or anything like that. So if you don't have a strategy guide, if you don't know where all the characters are in the world of Ruin, I could see how it also might be frustrating. Like, say not Edgar, because you have to take Edgar. What's a better example? Let's say Locke is your favorite character in the game. Getting to the world of Ruin and practically going to every corner of the map. If you visit every single dot on the world map, you will not find Locke. You've got to go to the Phoenix Cave to get Locke. I think we're about to see Gogo and Yumero here. Make sure you don't blink. Look for the back of the airship. They're coming. They're only going to be there for a split second. Don't miss it. And I've always just felt that Gogo and Yumero were just underdone characters. They could be a little fun, but they're clearly just something that someone threw in as like a side project in the game. So I get use out of them, and I see Gogo mentioned a lot in like YouTube videos and things like challenge runs. A lot of people use Gogo for his versatility. So they can give one character blitz and throw and lore or whatever you need to do. But he's not my favorite. I love Cyan. I wish he weren't such a butt monkey. A version of this game where Cyan is good would be the ultimate version of this game, I think. A world where I could use Cyan purposely and without hipster irony. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me for Final Fantasy VI. With any luck, I won't have to play another RPG on the channel ever again. Farewell.